Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending our meeting. My name is Chief Joseph Caffarelli with the Revere Police Department. I'm up here with Mayor Dan Rizzo. He'd like to come up and say a few words to you.
Chief, thank you very, very much. First off, I just want to thank all of you who came out here this evening on this rainy night. Probably not the best of nights to come out to a Crime Watch organizational meeting, but on behalf of the city, I'm very, very grateful that you did take the time. I just want to recognize some people that are here with us to help us out here today. First off, it was actually driven by our newly formed Neighborhood Advisory Committee, and I would like to ask those members that are present if they could stand and we can acknowledge them. Will the members of our Neighborhood Advisory Committee please stand, please? Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And, you know, for those of you that don't know, this Neighborhood Advisory Committee was put together to represent various corners of the city, not in an elected capacity, obviously, but just as interested citizens that care about what goes on in their neighborhoods, so they can bring that information back to us who do hold elected office and are able to make decisions that can impact the overall neighborhoods. I also want to recognize a very good friend of mine. We kind of swapped meetings here today. He was nice enough to invite John Festa, my Economic Development Director, who's sitting there in the back, him and I to go over and learn about their plans to revitalize their downtown district in Chelsea. And that's my good friend and city manager, Jay Ash from Chelsea. So, Jay, thank you so much for being here. He wanted to come over and learn a little bit about what we're talking about when it comes to Crime Watch. So after being elected, we did kind of a survey throughout the community where we got several hundred responses back. It was really, really great to see. And one of the things that people wanted to talk about was how can we, as citizens, get together and you know, form a Crime Watch group, get involved in a Crime Watch group, do our share in our own particular neighborhoods on reducing crime. And so based on those responses and the input from our Neighborhood Advisory Committee, we thought it would be a great idea to you know, get at least something started. This is just the beginning of what we hope is going to be a series of meetings and a series of organized Crime Watch groups. I want to thank Chief Caffarelli. I want to thank Officer Jerry Salvati. Lieutenant Amy O'Hara, thank you very much for being here. I saw Lieutenant Ford. I know he was here somewhere. There he is, sitting in the front. I also want to thank a couple councilors that with the Neighborhood Advisory Committee spearheaded this meeting, which you'll hear from in just a couple of seconds. But that would be Councilor Ira Novoselsky and Councilor Arthur Guanasso. So I want to thank them for their input. I also want to recognize City Councilor Bob Hass, who was here with us. City Councilor John Correggio is also here as well. And I think it's important that you know that they, like me and like the police officers that are here with us here tonight, all care deeply about what goes on in our neighborhoods. And obviously, to the extent possible, want to wipe out as many crimes and as much criminal activity as we possibly can. A couple more introductions. I do see Stacy Rizzo from the school committee in the back. Stacy, thanks so much for being here. And David Krasnoff, one of my administrative assistants, is also here with us to help answer any questions that that you may have. So. Without further ado, I would like to bring up one of the co-organizers of this event to say a few words, City Councilor Arthur Guanasso.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before I start, I just want to send a message out that Councilor Brian Arrigo asked me to give you his forgiveness that he's attending his grandmother's wake this evening, and he apologizes for not being in attendance. As far as Crime Watch, I'm very interested in it because I'm very outspoken about crime, and I suggested when I ran for re-election this past year, a year ago, as did the mayor, that police activity, crime activity, that's a very important issue with me. Public safety, to me, is number one as far as people's concerns. And I heard it from many citizens in the community stating that there are various reasons why they're concerned. They're afraid to come out of their homes sometimes when there's people congregating in an area. They're concerned about drug activity that seems to be increasing by the hour. They're concerned about media exposure to many instances of gun activity now that we've never seen before in the city's history. So they're concerned about many, many things. And I think the basic problem is that people don't get involved. Now, we reached out and we asked people to be here this evening, understanding that it's a nasty day and it's not a decent event to come to when it's so inclement, the weather is not helping us any. But you got to be somewhat part of this process, and now that stop complaining. As the mayor said, he reached out and he got these documentaries back. Now we've asked people from Ward 2 and Ward 3 to be here this evening to at least hear out what might be a helpful tool for them preventing crime. And I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't have a greater outpouring of people. I'm really, truly mean that. It's difficult for all of us to be part of this. But what you've got to do is you've got to be cognizant of the fact that each street, in definition, if they identify with their neighbors, at least know their neighbor's name or their phone number, or the home address across from them, that's a preventive for crime. You call the police department. We have a very aggressive new chief who swore to each and every one of us in council and the mayor when he was appointed that he will do anything in his power to help us. And I really believe that. He's got some great people on the staff. Now all we have to do is get together and utilize what we have within our community. I'm very, very favorable to getting more cops on the beat. I'm very, very favorable to getting more police officers on the payroll. And I will do whatever I can to assist the mayor in performing that. But we, as a community, have to be to the forefront. We have to prevent crime, and when we see it and mark it, I have an individual I saw come in the room earlier tonight who's been very, very helpful in a very small area in Ward 3. We had a neighborhood meeting up in St. Anthony's Church a couple of years ago. She prevented crime from happening there. We had a drug problem in that area. They got rid of this person. They kept the pressure right on this person through the efforts of Jerry Salvati from posting Crime Watch activity. We kept the pressure on this individual. He finally left. That neighborhood was spared any more inconvenience by this individual. So if you can soul search and if you can reach out to your neighbors and tell them what happened tonight, to at least identify crime when you see it, and we don't want you to get involved with that. That's not, you're not police officers. You're not supposed to do that. All you're supposed to do is pick up your phone and call. And I'm sure that the police department won't give out your name when you call. And a lot of people are apprehended about that. They say, oh, apprehensive about that. They say, oh, I call the police department and they'll give out my name to the individual. I have the assurance of the police chief that that won't happen. So do whatever you can to help. And I could talk forever on this, so it's not for me to do all this. I just want to tell you my expression of how I feel. And whatever I can do to help your neighborhood, I'll be glad to do so. Just call me. I'll work with the mayor and the police department. We'll do anything in our power to get rid of the problem that occurs in your area. You should not have to live with this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilor. And there's a couple other people I just want to acknowledge real quick, which is my Chief of Staff. He was here, Miles Lane Kennedy. Oh, there he is. Okay. Miles, good to see you down there. I know Councilor Guanasso had alluded to the fact that, because maybe the weather, maybe we didn't do a good enough job in our outreach efforts, that we didn't get the crowd here that we had anticipated. But I do want to thank Revere TV for being here. At least for those of you that are sitting in your living rooms right now, you can at least see what goes on here. You can hear from our law enforcement professionals as they talk about how you can keep your neighborhood safe and help keep your neighbors safe and keep yourself safe. Our next speaker I'd like to call up now is the other co-sponsor. He's our Ward 2 City Councilor, Ira Novoselsky.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, thank everybody for coming tonight, and welcome to Jay Ash and to our fair city. But when I've been the city council for 11 years, and I've always professed I cannot do it alone. The police department cannot do it alone. They need other sets of eyes. We only have, 82 folks on our staff now, police? 90 on Thursday. Okay, we're increasing it Thursday to 90. But that's still short. We used to have 117 police officers on the street protecting us. We still needed another set of eyes. You are it. I profess that not only with Crime Watch and crime that's going on, but I also profess it with things that you need. Street lights out, trees falling, potholes. I can't be everywhere. Arthur can't be everywhere. The mayor can't be everywhere. We need your set of eyes for everything. Now, I was involved in Crime Watch back in the 70s, down in the Shirley Ave area, and it was pretty bad then. We were technically vigilantes then. We didn't want to sit back and just call the police. We wanted to be out there and find where there's trouble going on. We actually had what we call a Ward 2 Civic Association that had this Crime Watch. We actually bought CB radios and put them in people's cars. The police station had a base, so if we needed their assistance, cell phones weren't around then. We called the base, then they responded to a car and it appreciated. Unfortunately, like what we were saying, we became our own victims. Because people on Halloween, we got egged, they knew our cars, we got egged every corner we went on. We don't want you to do that anymore. Get specific information. The chief is going to tell you how to do that, and that's why we're here tonight. We're not here to hear the complaints of what's going on now. We're here to teach you what to look for and how to handle things. Very, very important. So with that, we were all looking for safety. Shirley Ave, 10 years ago, was the dungeon of Revere. The gangs were out of control. Drugs were out of control. Shootings were out of control. They're coming back somewhat, but not as harsh. We need your help, and I'll profess it from now until forever. We need your help. That other set of eyes is for us. So with that, for my Ward 2 folks that are here today, thank you. Holly Fletcher's here. Now, Holly lives in a high-rise on Ocean Avenue. Now, people wouldn't think that a high-rise has the problem like we do in our neighborhood in Shirley Ave. They have it as bad as we do. I live in the street, like many of you live on the street. Even in a condos building, as high as the 14 stories that they have, they need their own crime watch. And I'm glad Holly's here to try and set it up down there. And we'll be glad to work with you guys and set it up on Ocean Avenue and, of course, in all our neighborhoods in Shirley Ave. So thank you for coming. You've heard enough from me. Let's hear what the chief has to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilor. And actually, Councilor Novoselsky makes an excellent point. All you guys that are here can be the catalyst for more people. Even though there's not as many people, we wanted to fill this whole hall. That's okay. Next time around, that's what we will do, because all of you are going to take the lessons and messages that you learned from Chief Caffarelli, Officer Salvati, Lieutenant Ford, and Lieutenant O'Hara, You're going to take those back to your neighborhoods, back to your homes, and you're going to organize, hopefully, at the end of this. That's our goal. Our administration is all about inclusion. The more people that get involved, the stronger and better of a community we're going to have. There's no doubt in my mind. And that's why, you know, it's so heartwarming for me to see Erin, Chan, Scott here from our newly formed Neighborhood Advisory Committee, because they're doing just that. They're, you know, they're concerned citizens that want to get actively involved in what goes on in their neighborhoods. And they, you know, and they all, as I say, represent different neighborhoods throughout the city. There's actually 3 others that are actually part of this that for one reason or another couldn't make it here this evening. But, you know, you should know that you've got a lot of concerned citizens in addition to yourselves that care about what goes on in this community. I know there's 2 other councilors here, so before I turn it back over to the chief, would any of you councilors like to say a few words? Councilor Correggio, would you like to say a few words? Councilor Haas?
Just briefly, I just want to thank you all for coming. I want to commend the Rizzo administration for doing a tremendous job addressing the issue with appointing a new police chief. We're already starting to see results on Broadway as far as crime. Mayor Rizzo's been working very, very hard to keep Revere safe. You have pamphlets. There's a lot of information in there to read. And I'm available anytime you want a question or anything. My phone number's in the book. And let's hear from the chief. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. When I was mayor back about 10 years ago, we had a crime watch. And as Ira indicated, in the 1970s, it went strong through the 90s. And for some reason, people grew up, they moved out. And as the mayor indicated, the people here, you people make it happen. You're going to notice things by reading the pamphlets, etc., that just a number on your house. By law, every home in Revere is supposed to have a number. Now, if you're looking out your backyard and you see something happen in back of you, there's no number. So that's a typical thing if you call up. I live in Fenley Street up in Malden Street area. Now, if someone's breaking the house in back of me, I have no idea. I know it may be High Street, but I have no idea what the actual number would be. So what you're going to learn in this whole system here is we should have to identify houses by numbers, etc. And that's one little small way, but it's you people who are going to make it happen because, as was mentioned by many speakers, you people will tell other people who will tell other people. And as was indicated, the new police chief has done a tremendous job in the past 9 months. And he's 100% for this program. And you have to have your chief, along with the police officers, involved with it. I mean, we can sit here and do everything, but if we're getting no response from the police department, it's useless. This chief has made a commitment to us that he will respond when called. So pick up that phone, do what you have to do, but do not get involved in any altercation. That's the worst thing we could all do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilor Haas, Councilor Correggio. So, without any further ado, I would like to bring up a gentleman that's done really a terrific job for me. We talk, I can't say we talk every day, but almost every day. He keeps me as informed as I can possibly be. He's instituted a number of new programs that I think have been effective within the police department. And so, you know, in addition to that, he's a big believer, as I am, in community policing and crime watch groups such as the ones he's going to talk about here this evening. So please welcome Chief Joe Caffarelli.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilors, very flattering compliments, and I thank you. Councilor Novoselsky pointed out back in the day when Shirley Ave in its heyday was some mean streets, but I got to say it was a great place to do police work. That's where I learned to be a cop. Myself, Lieutenant O'Hara, were partners back in the day, and if you wanted to be a cop, that's the place to do it. We were fortunate enough to initiate the first community policing program in the city, and it paid great dividends. So we learned a lot doing that. And what we've learned over the years since then, I don't mind telling you that I've been doing it for 22 years. I won't embarrass the good lieutenant, being a female and all. I don't want to put her on the spot, but I'll take the hit on that one. 22 years for me that I've been doing this, and it paid dividends overall. I've learned a lot. What I've learned, we're trying to implement. Some of the biggest problems we're facing at the moment right now with respect to Crime Watch would be property crimes, drugs and gangs, and traffic. And I'm going to kind of break this down and use the Broadway area as an example. And you may ask yourself, why Broadway? I don't live on Broadway. There's not a lot of residents on Broadway as opposed to Revere Street or Shirley Ave or whatnot. Broadway was, as everybody knows, it's the hub of the city. And we had our police station on Pleasant Street, in one-way street. If you wanted to get to the police station, you had to drive down Broadway to do it. When we moved the police station from Pleasant Street to the Parkway, it created a huge void in our police presence in the Broadway area. And it was noticed. It was noticed by the citizens that were afraid to shop or just spend time on Broadway. There was a lack of police presence. Conversely, there was an increase in youth crimes, property crimes, drug-related crimes, gang activity, and as we know, the traffic is horrific on a good day. So what we did initially with our walking routes, we increased our walking patrols in the Broadway area. The walking routes wear bright yellow traffic vests in the warm weather, bright yellow, high visibility raincoats in the inclement weather. That maintains far greater, in my opinion, far greater presence, police presence. You can spot the two cops walking the beat a mile away. Okay, so that, just the presence, what I call showing the flag, that has paid huge dividends. The crime rates have diminished, and I'm not going to bore you with a lot of statistical data with crime rates. And just let me diverse just a minute. We can go on all night about statistical data, but if your house got broken into, your crime rate just went up 100%. Okay, that's what I want to address. It's a quality of life issue that everybody is entitled to. So, again, breaking down the Broadway response. This is why Broadway was addressed as it was. We're on the verge of opening up our first substation in many years that'll be on the Broadway area to put up our presence back on Broadway. We can do that anywhere in the city. It takes dedication and it takes funding. So what do we need from you? We're going to move on to what it takes to form a crime watch real quick. And again, it's your neighborhood. What does it take? And it takes a commitment. We will try to protect your privacy. Sometimes we may need your name and address so that we can prosecute fully, depending on the severity of the crime. I'm not going to lie to you. It's your street. Okay, there's a lot of Hollywood hype that you'll see that gives the impression that the criminals come back with retribution. That's generally not the case. Criminals, by and large, they're opportunists. If they see resistance on the one side, they're going to go to the other side. They're going to go the path of least resistance. Don't be afraid of the retribution. It's minimal at best. I just received a notice not too long ago that there's somebody that's reached out to the Mass chiefs of police, and they've made several death threats against the chiefs of police, a couple of different communities. My kids are home filling sandbags as we speak. We're building a bunker. Bring it on. I don't see it happening. So don't anguish too much about that. Your first role is to take back your streets. Be a good neighbor. Know your neighbors, and that's one of the things that Crime Watch does. It brings people together on a community basis, not by wards, precincts, and whatnot, in communities, in neighborhoods. That's what we've gotten away from. When you see in the house next door getting broken into, and maybe you don't know the guy, or maybe you don't like the family, or maybe you've had some sort of a dispute over who's parking in somebody's spot in the winter when I just shoveled it out. It's a lot harder to hold that sort of animosity when you know the people, when you see them at these Crime Watch meetings. That's no longer the guy down the street. That's maybe Bill's house getting broken into. So you take a little more interest in that. If you see something that you don't think is right, if you're sitting asking yourself, should I call the police? Call the police. That's what we're here for. Far too often, I've gotten, reports through the mayor's office, through city councilors, this incident took place at some point in time, and I'll review the logs, and you may call the mayor, but you don't call the police. 3 in the morning, I'm not sure what the mayor does, nor am I really concerned what the mayor's doing at 3 in the morning. My police officers are here. That's what we do. There's no lock on the front door. We don't close. We're here. Call us, okay? The who, what, where, when, and why. That's key. And also, the Crime Watch builds credibility with the police department as well. If we know we're getting credible information on a regular basis from certain neighborhoods, not that we look any less at somebody else calling, but there's a track record, there's a proven track record, there's a history there's a rapport with the officers that are responding to your neighborhood, because generally the same officers work the same neighborhoods. So that rapport is very important for Crime Watch to work, but the most important thing for Crime Watch to work is you, okay? Your involvement, okay? Your courage to take back the streets, take back your homes, and don't let the bad guys win. Don't let them make you a prisoner in your own home. Okay, I'm going to call Officer Salvetti up. He's going to explain to you how to report a crime, the best way to report it to us, the who, what's, where, when's, and why's, and what it takes to catch these guys. Gary, you ready?
Good evening, everybody. How you doing? All right. We're here tonight to talk about Crime Watch. We've been doing this over and over for many years. We're looking for groups to start in the city, and we need your help. Like the mayor said, we're very dedicated to this program, as is the chief, the councilors, Councilor Hatch and I did Crime Watch, 14 years ago, Councilor? So it's been going on for years, and we're looking to get groups in the city. The mayor has a new group formed to break down the groups of the city, and I'll be here after this meeting. If you want to get together with me, we can talk some different paths we can go that'll be good for you, for your community. What can help your neighborhood? Like I was talking to the people coming in, I noticed a lot of people I know us here from doing this over the years. Every area has different problems, whether it's kids hanging around, cars getting broken into, house breaks, drug activity. Every area of the city we come across as we work, patrolling, there are different areas of concern. That's why we're here. We're here to help you. Like I said, the mayor has been dedicated to this from day one while he was campaigning. He made public safety his number one goal, and I think it's great. You have a chief, we have a new chief here, he's dedicated, officers from the department here. We're here to help you. And the way we're going to help you, if you help us, by getting a group together. Arthur and I have done numerous groups, Crime Watchers, Mr. Correggio, like I said, Councilor Hass, from way back. We're here to help you. You can get involved as much as you want or as little as you want. Today you have the internet, Facebook, Twitter. You can reach to your neighbors by phones, on the web, whatever you like to do. But we need you. If you see, like the chief said earlier, you see someone suspicious near your neighbor's house. If you think it looks suspicious, call us. We'll come down there. That's what we're here for. We're here to serve you, the public. And the mayor's made it from day one that he wants us to do this. And I'm very happy. I love doing this. I've been doing it for, I've been here on the job almost 19 years. I've been doing Crime Watch for 17 years. And does it work? Absolutely works. And it works because of the citizens like yourself. We're here to help you. If you see something, I said, you see something suspicious, call us. It could be nothing, it could be something. I can go on and on about calls, but we need is the number one thing we got to get. We don't tell the people to confront anybody. We don't want you to. What we like you to do is get clothing, facial hair, hair color, whatever you can get to help us. So when we arrive on the scene, most of the times the persons that are involved are taking off, running, or getting into a vehicle. They get into a vehicle, get the color. The most important thing is the plate number. What direction? Was a 4-door, 2-door? How many occupants? 1, 2, whatever it might be. Whatever you give us leads us to maybe stop the vehicle a block away, 2 blocks away. Or we'll run the plate
and we'll go to that house and see why that vehicle was in our city, what was going on. At least we know who owns that vehicle. That's very important today, to have your folks reaching out to us and giving us as much information we can possibly get. Little things that you won't even think of will help us. And it helps the community, it helps you, it helps us. Because we want to solve the crimes. We want to keep going back to the same calls over and over and over. We want to make you feel safe. That's what the mayor said. He wants everyone to feel as safe as you can be. He wants you to walk out of your house not worrying about coming against a group of kids that might be unruly, or a drunk hanging out on the street causing fear to a senior coming home from shopping. That's our job. Our job is here to help you, every citizen in the city. That's what we took our job to do. And I'm more than happy to, like I said, get together with you. Look at the councilors here, very dedicated. The mayor's here, the chief's here. We're here. You start the group, we'll be right with you. We'll break it down in different groups of the city. That's what we're looking for, to break it down in different sections. So, like I said, every area has different, like Ira says, well, Ward 2 is different from Arthur, from Ward 3. He's citywide, so he's on Malden Street. Bob Hassel on Malden Street. Every area has different problems. And we will try everything we can to help you. That's what we're here for. Can we solve everything? I'm not going to lie here and say we're going to solve it. We'll try, but I'm not going to come up here with a bunch of stats. I'm not a stats guy. I told the mayor a long time ago. Stats to me doesn't mean that. It helps us to say, okay, there's car breaks in this area more than Ward 2 or less than Ward 3. We have more house breaks. That helps us with the stats. We have people do the stats, but I want to see action. That's what we're here for. And if anything I can answer for, I'd be more than happy to. Thank you. You want to make closing remarks?
Okay, lastly, we'll take a couple of questions. If you have something you feel you may want to talk to somebody in private, Lieutenant O'Hara, Officer Salvati, myself, we'll be in the air. We're not going anywhere. You want to talk to us in private, that's perfectly fine. One of the things we're going to try to implement to bring a little bit of understanding of what we do, we want to try to run another Citizens Police Academy again. You're not going to get guns and badges, you get to go out and lock up bad guys. But you'll get a better understanding of what we do and why sometimes we can and can't lock up the bad guys. It's informative. It's a lot of fun. I think Council Novoselsky can attest to it. It's a good program, something that we're going to try to get off the ground pretty soon. Does anybody have any questions at this point? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir, Chief. My question is, in the Wardsboro area where I live right now, Ocean Avenue, there between Revere Beach and Wonderland, there is an incredible amount of activity from people coming into the city as well as hanging around and milling around these areas. How much coordination is there with the MBTA security, with Revere Police, in order to be able to provide surveillance cameras for coordinated activity?
The question is, in the area of Ocean Ave, what can we do with the MBTA to increase productivity, our proactive approach to crime in that area? Is that what you're asking me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Surveillance, if that's not something that you can be there all the time, we certainly do not have security with the MBTA there, especially in the evening hours where the crime rate seems to go up. And with the commuters coming home, there are over 630 homes in those 6 buildings along the front, not to mention Shirley Avenue, Beach Street, et cetera. There is an incredible amount of activity going on.
Okay. Well, we work very well with the MBTA police. The transit police, they're a very good asset for us to have in the city. We have several train stations as well as bus routes throughout the city. The MBTA have a very strong presence here. Any calls that come through that happen to be on their jurisdiction that come through our dispatch, we'll forward right to the MBTA. But we can, with your concerns as well. If you have concerns, we can certainly forward. I think Lieutenant O'Hara would be probably our best point of contact for that. She has a good point of contact with the MBTA, the district commander, who will be able to address any problems you have down there. I don't know what technology they do have. I can find out what surveillance they have. They're very technologically advanced, so I'm sure they have some sort of camera system on on the platforms that may be outside the station as well, but I can look into that.
Thank you.
Sure. Yes, ma'am.
What about the, when you call into the police station and you try to go into that direct unit to report what you're seeing or what's going on, and it's full?
Okay, that's full because that number really isn't an active number at this point. That's something I've been working with the detectives to implement. Instead of just a drug hotline, we want to have a crime hotline, not just any crime that may be, something that would go to the detective bureau to begin with. Any sort of a crime, anonymous, that we can use. So that number right now is not active. I hope to have it back up online pretty soon. There are many other, you can certainly call 911 or 284-1212, but we also have Twitter, Facebook. You can email us. We can pretty much get all that information to who it needs to go to investigate. Does that answer your question? More or less. Come on up, Steve.
I'm Lieutenant Stephen Ford with the police department. I'm the IT guy. Basically, the chief said we do have Twitter, we have Facebook that I try to monitor during the day and even at nighttime. But also we have an app for the smartphone called MyPD that you can submit a tip. It's anonymous. So if you don't want to call us, you don't want to call the number, but those tips basically go to an email address. We don't know who it came from. We can't trace it back to you. There is an option if you want to put your information in there so we can call you back. But feel free not to put that in. It also has an option to send a picture. So I know the mayor is concerned about the status of the city. So we put down, light is out on Revere Street. We'll receive it. We'll forward it off to the proper department. We're not just crime fighters. We'll do whatever we can to make the city better. So you look up if you have an Apple or an Android, just go in the shop, look for a place called MyPD, and we'll download it and send it away.
And if you're not as technologically savvy like myself, you can still use the old telephone. You can call us. That's not a problem.
Is that the best thing to do? Like if you're seeing something going on right away?
Yes. If there's something in progress, you call 911 right away. If there's a crime and you're looking at it, is it something I should call the police for? If you don't think it's an emergency, you can call the business line 284-1212 and then 0 put you right into dispatch. We'll get somebody down there right away. If it's something along the lines of an ongoing problem such as drug activity, something like that, we hope to have that hotline up pretty soon. Anybody else?
Is it possible that you,
Sorry to have so many questions, but in the building that I'm in there are 630 different apartments in there. We have a lot of foreign residents and students that are now living in Revere. What is the chance that you may have some type of magnetic thing that can go on a refrigerator that has the emergency numbers as well as a hotline tip number that could be handed out to new residents in your resident kit?
We could probably get something like that made up at some point. That's it's not a big money item, but in this day and age, the generation younger than me, they're pretty technologically savvy, and I have to keep deferring back. Like our website, for instance, has how many languages are on the website? There's languages I've never even heard of. There's dozens, to say the least. Probably at least 50. So that's one aspect. That's one way. That there's a lot of people that of various different nations. They can still communicate with us on our website. That's a no-brainer. Okay, when we get some more of those magnetic 911 thing on your refrigerator, obviously somebody will get them out.
Just have a quick question. Is there anything in the future coming in Revere because of all the new technology do we have any grants to beef up to get any electronic equipment up there, more cameras, more surveillance? I know you can't go directly into people's houses, but on the streets, just to even have them up there is going to be a deterrent to crime. I know we can't, because of all the laws, we can't have them going into house windows or whatnot, but if we put them on streets, we have them in the schools, we put them directly into the parks where they're already in schools, I think that's going to deter a lot of crime.
You're right, and that's something that we have been working on. There's, technology changes almost weekly. We try to stay abreast with it. It's an ongoing battle. There's grant funding that does come out from time to time that we apply for constantly. The downside of that is, for as many cameras as we put up, you need somebody that's going to monitor and follow up on them. So it does become a personnel matter at that point. But we're working on it.
We currently do have 16 cameras spread out through the city. 12, one in Broadway, Ocean Ave, Shirley Ave, different areas of the city. We currently do have 16.
A lot of the crimes, though, are happening in Middlesex now.
You're absolutely right, sir. When we look at the cameras and the placement of them, one of the things that we have to look at is how do we get that back to the police department? And we look at the whole neighborhood, like we probably doing like the project area. There was no line of sight, as they would say, to put it. So we are working on it. The company we work with has been trying different aspects to get it back to the city. Very generously put in a fiber network. So that's one way we're trying to get cameras into those areas that you're talking about.
We're exploring every new technology that comes down the pipe. But again, the Crime Watch meeting comes down to you. If you see something, by all means, report it. Yes, ma'am.
Chief, about a year ago, I called the police department 911 because the Muslim church there, a guy was getting killed. We saw a butcher knife and that, and we reported to the police. Not too much was done about it, and we have to go to all the department heads to get to whatever we want. It shouldn't be that way. It's just like a telephone company. You got to call all these departments and everything. I don't think it's right.
Well, 911 will come right through the dispatch. If you dial 911, that'll come right through the dispatch, and that's the. It doesn't go to any department head. 911 goes straight to an operator.
Chief, the other thing is that if you're having a problem with the system, obviously we can review that system. But if you need to call the police department, you would call 284-1212. Press 0. You're going to get somebody. We can transfer you to the proper department. We can speak to a police officer once you press 0.
But if you have an emergency, 911 that's going to put you right in touch with a live person that's going to get somebody to help you right away.
Thank you, Aaron. Chief, just before, I don't know if anyone has any more questions, but I wanted you to mention two things. One, and it was shown on the last screen, was to remind people, I know you're going to be doing similar to what we do now. We put out a city newsletter every month, and now you're going to be doing your own newsletter once a month, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct. I better get this right. This is the boss asking questions now, so I got to get this right.
Well, I just want everybody to know that in addition to receiving the city newsletter, if you're interested in receiving a newsletter from the police department in terms of updates or tips or whatever else the chief is going to include in the newsletter, be sure you sign up before you leave, okay? And maybe you can even explain to them how, if they don't sign up tonight, maybe how they can sign up to get the newsletter. The other question, or the other idea that I had is basically, if there are people here who want to actually spearhead, not just do their own crime watch on their own, but they want to form a group, who can they contact so that they can maybe get some assistance in putting a neighborhood group together, to help facilitate that? Is there anyone available they can speak with at the police department after tonight's meeting?
Sure. At any time, if you have any questions, anybody would like to start a crime watch, Officer Salvati, Lieutenant O'Hara, or myself, but anybody will point you in the right direction, any one of my officers, but these are probably my two points of contact for right now. Lieutenant O'Hara and Officer Salvati would be more than happy to help anybody get their crime watch meeting up, crime watch group together, get your meetings orchestrated, help you get set up for it, and get you on the road to taking the streets back. Anything else? Is that about it? Thank you very much for coming down here, and again, I look forward to working with all of you. It's a partnership. We're only as good as the citizens we serve.